Hello there, I am Jenny, and I'm here to talk about the fact that tomorrow I am going to get surgery to repair my scapholunate. Scapholunate? I don't know. It's a little ligament in my wrist that has been torn. Didn't know that word, scapholunate. Didn't ever, never heard that word before in my life. I could have gone my entire life without hearing that word. But over the last 6 weeks, it has completely taken over my life, and I have come to the realization that I do need surgery. I had injured myself in class about 6 weeks ago. Let me jump back a little bit. I am a digital graphic artist, and for fun and for the complete utter joy of it, I am an amateur competitive pole dancer. Yes, that's a thing. Every time I say that, people are like, wait, what? That's a thing? And for all my pole sisters who stumble upon this or come and find this, yes, it's a thing. And it is wonderful. It's fun. You work your way up from a fireman spin into big time power pole tricks. It's wonderful. And what happened to me was I got injured about 6 weeks ago, coming to pole class on a day when I just shouldn't have. I just want to step back about that competitive thing. I did win my category and division at Pacific Pole Championships, part of Pole Sport Organization. So in short, we say I placed first in my category and division at PPC, and my category and division is entertainment, which means mine was peppy and fun, and it was level 3 because I can climb and invert, and my division, they categorize this by age, and because I'm over 50, I'm a grandmaster, so woohoo! And I did pretty well considering I went first, and I was assigned to go on at 8:15 in the morning back in April. So there's that background. It was a joy, a thrill, and I was planning to compete again in July, about a month ago, end of July, at PSO Gateway, Pole Sport Organization Gateway in St. Louis. And while I was trying to train after I'd injured myself, it just kept hurting and kept hurting and kept hurting. So finally, I went to get an x-ray. They said, well, we don't really see anything, so why don't you get a CT scan? So I got a CT scan, and it said that I had torn my scapholunate. And how I did it, again, I will say that I went to pole on a day I shouldn't have. I had been working a freelance digital job that had a long commute. I had an hour in the morning commute and then a 2-hour commute to get back. It was a challenging week. I had another thing that was going on, and on top of getting barely any sleep, I kept going to pole because, like most of my pole sisters and brothers will say, it can get addicting because you just want to get the next trick and get the next one and get the next one. It's so much fun. That being said, I realized that I was compensating for an injury I was feeling from overwork at the job. It was a high volume job, had to produce a lot of banners. Now, and this isn't a complaint. I love making banners. I love doing graphic arts. It's my thing. It was the commute that was just destroying me. And so I had to work several hours late one night because of the volume of work, and I needed to take the day off for an event, and I got ahead of the volume of work by staying up until midnight the night before. I barely slept, got up at 7, kept on working, working from home, and then I got all my stuff turned in, and it was noon, and I was like, hey, I can go catch a pole class. And I did. And I was just not in the right frame of mind. I was exhausted. I had something to do later on that night. I just wasn't present. And because my shoulder was hurting from the overwork and everything, I did a move that I've done 100 times. Literally, I'm going to show it here while I keep talking. It was just a shoulder mount dismount. And somehow my hand got stuck, caught, and all of a sudden I was in the move and oh my God, ow, 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 ow. Oh my gosh, this really hurts. Oh God. And I have a video of me doing the free dance at the end of class, and I just look miserable. I'm not even going to show it here because it's horrible. So I went ahead and did the event. I had to sing later that night, covered in KT tape. And then I was feeling better the next day, and I went to pole class again. And it hurt a lot, but I did it. And then I went back the next day, and I did this move that I've been chasing for a year. I'm not kidding. Uh, it is this move called a cartwheel kick up into a true grip Aisha, fancy pole name. But yes, I finally got it. I got it. It's so much fun. And even the next day, I went ahead and did it. I mean, I went to open pole and I was feeling kind of funky, but I did it. Then by Sunday, I had a workshop I was participating in, and everything hurt. And when I first injured myself, everything was swollen. And I didn't know what had happened. I didn't know what I did. So my whole hand was inflamed and on fire. And so I went to urgent care that day, and they shoved a brace at me, and okay, sure, that's fine. I put it on. It didn't really do anything. I went to pull the next day, and it was hurting a lot less. And I did this move that was always hard for me that I'm just now starting to get. It's a spinning shoulder mount or a flying shoulder mount. Whee! I keep getting it. So yay! There's that. And wow, I just feel like this injury has stopped me in my tracks. So we were going out of town the next day to go to St. Louis. We were planning to go to St. Louis twice in July, once for my dad's 80th birthday, and the second time I was going to go back to compete at Gateway. So I went to Missouri, rural Missouri, and I found a great studio to train out in the country. It was amazing. And I went and trained with this really sweet girl, and everything hurt. And I kept trying to run pieces of my piece, and it just hurt. And so I had agreed to meet her a few days later, and I said, I'm going to take a good 5 days off. And in there we had my dad's birthday party. We had, all kinds of fun and family. And we were still out there, and I went back to this girl's studio in Missouri, and gosh darn it, it still hurt. Flew home the next day, started training some more, tried to meet with my coach. Yikes, it just wasn't good. So I called my sister and I said, hey, I think I'm gonna quit the competition. And she said, I just bought 5 tickets. So then I was like, okay, I'll tough it out and try. And finally I went back to urgent care, and that's when they told me to get a CT scan. Got the CT scan. It said you tore a ligament, and that was when I canceled out of the competition, found a way to get my sister's money back, and I sold the tickets online through Facebook, and I was able to, in a roundabout way, get my registration fee back. That's a whole nother issue, but I was able to do it. And so then I started making appointments to see doctors. Well, I keep reading online that if you get this scapholunate tear, you got to get it fixed right away. Your chance of success diminish the longer you wait if it becomes chronic. Like, for example, some people never know that they have this. They take a fall or something, and then the wrist starts getting better, and then they don't know what's going on because the bones become misaligned, is what I've been reading and hearing. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not about to go into any decent doctor speak. So you do have to get it repaired. I was seeing a wonderful acupuncturist, and she had never heard of this injury either, and so I was getting treatment with her. Things were getting better. I was feeling better, but then she had gotten a second opinion with a colleague, and she laid it out in my next visit. She said, okay, so your choice here is to continue with acupuncture and hope it gets better, but long term, it could lead to arthritis. I mean, the whole wrist could just fall apart because the bones aren't acting the way they should. I'll hear a snap, snap, and then kind of a jolt of something funky. Um, so I decided at that point I needed to start talking to orthopedic specialists. So I did, and I was going to open pole and just doing everything I could, not using this wrist. I was practicing my headstands. I was going to flexibility classes, which were all great. I mean, the good news is that I can do moves using this hand that I never tried before because I didn't have to. So there's that. I mean, this hand is stronger, and bless you for hanging in there with me. Wow. So there's that. And so then I keep practicing headstands, forearm stands like this. Great. So then I see my first doctor. I'm not going to name any names, but I wasn't confident with him. First of all, he shoved a giant brace at me that had a big thumb thing, and it felt awful. And he said, don't move, don't touch it, don't do anything. Get a second opinion and come back and see me in 2 weeks. Get a second opinion. You really need to get this operated right away. See me in 2 weeks. Okay. And I'd already had other doctors lined up because I just knew that I should. Second doctor, I saw him the next week, and that was on a Thursday, and then the next doctor was on a Wednesday. He said, yes, we need to get you right in right away. You got to get it operated. Let's get you on my table next Thursday. This was a Wednesday, this was Thursday. And he also said, and I showed him some of the pole videos of what I've been able to do since, because before I got the CT scan, I was still doing, cup grip, Aisha's, the whole thing. And if it hurt, like there's a move called a butterfly where my wrist kind of rotates a certain way that it just didn't like. So I was like, well, I can do a shoulder mount into a cup grip. It still kind of pulls, but I could do it. I showed him that video, and he said, you know what? Honestly, you should get back up on the pole. And it had been a good 2 weeks since I tried anything on this hand. He said, you should get back up there and keep your tendon strong and everything. And I agreed, and I was so happy, and I went back. So, but getting back to when he says, you need surgery right away. We're going to schedule you for next Thursday. Get you on that surgery schedule. The scheduler is going to come right in and talk to you. She comes right in. He leaves. Bye. See you Thursday. She comes in and she looks at me and says, I'm too busy. I'll call you tomorrow. So here I go from being, okay, I'm going to make the right choice, the surgery, doing everything he tells me, I'm making the right choice, hopeful and confident, to what happened. So bewildered, confused, and helpless in a minute. Next day, she never calls. I finally called them. She was gone, so the assistant or whatever was like, well, who's your primary care physician? I didn't know. No one told me I needed a primary care physician. Because I said, I don't know. I'm just going through urgent care. Because she was like, well, we got to get you cleared for pre-op and all that. So I finally make some calls. And on a happy side note, I found my doctor that I used to see for like 15 years. But when I left my other job and left that medical group, lost touch with her. But I found her again. So, yay! So she's now my primary care physician. And I went in to get all the tests done, all the pre-op tests done. We still didn't even have a surgery date. Didn't have one. And this was the Friday. So there was the Thursday, the Wednesday. Thursday, first doctor. Wednesday, next, second doctor. Get into surgery. And then Friday, I'm trying to get all the blood work done and everything. Knowing I had a third doctor to see on Monday. So I still hadn't heard from the scheduler. I'm supposed to have surgery on Thursday. Never heard from the scheduler. I'm like a mess, an emotional wreck, because here I'm going to upend my life. I'm not going to be able to use my right hand. I can eat left-handed because of an accident I had when I was a kid. During the summer, I didn't have to write, so I learned to eat right-handed. Hey, yay! I played softball and broke a bunch of fingers. It was, no big deal. But I have to do everything now with just one hand. I'm going to upend my life. I need somebody to call me and tell me, is this happening? So she finally called after I left a not so favorable Google review. Sorry. I guess it prompted her to call, but she also happened to call when I was in transit on my way to the other doctor. I get to the other doctor, loved her. She spent the most amount of time with me, followed up that evening with a PDF outlining everything we talked about, the risks of surgery. These are the chances you have of this being successful or failure. And she laid it out. It is 50-50. Even though the other two doctors were like, oh yeah, you'll be up on that pole doing all the things. She said, they might have said that, but she said it is 50-50 with them too. Hate to break it to you, hate to break it to them. It's 50-50. So I liked her. I'm going to have the surgery with her. In the meantime, I've been doing pole. It's hurting a lot less. I guess my brain mentally has pinpointed where the issue is. I mean, it's really here. And so, I'll do a shoulder mount and try to climb the pole. And for the most part, I'm pretty strong. It's been going well. The doctor even said, with the amount that you're able to do right now, I almost hesitate to give you the surgery. But as I go back to class and as I've gotten stronger and better, I could still feel it's just not right. So I'm taking the risk. I'm taking this leap of faith. I'm getting the surgery. I'm fully committed to taking the time off. First of all, there's going to be pins in my arm for 4 weeks. My 19-year-old son is going to drive me. He's going to be my nursemaid for the next week due to my husband's busy work schedule. I'm taking myself off the freelance lists on the sites I'm on because I won't be able to do anything for a good solid month. I'm really scared. I believe I will heal. I made friends with people on Instagram, not to be a crazy stalker, but I found people on Instagram who had this surgery. One girl is a CrossFitter. She had it done late December, and her latest Instagram video shows her doing those clean and lift 260 pounds. And when she brings her barbell back, her wrists are completely bent back. And then she lifts it up, puts it down, and goes, yeah, I'm just trying to lift myself. I mean, on a bad day, I weigh 130 pounds. So all I need to do is to be able to hold myself up in a true grip Aisha. It's my favorite move. I do it all day. I performed it last year at a show where I did a pole version of The Handmaid's Tale. I'm in this to win this. This is a setback. I love doing pole. I love doing graphic design. I love being able to just use my hands. I make cookies. I make cookies for parties and for Voices of Christmas rehearsal, my singing group, and I roll dough balls and put them in the freezer, so all I have to do is pop them on the trays. So not being able to use this hand for at least the next 6 weeks is going to be really weird. But I have a lot of support, have a lot of supportive friends. So my purpose in starting this blog, this is video 1. I call this the day before, and I'm going to try to record something on my phone and post it tomorrow. On this channel, you can see some of my other graphic design videos and poll pieces that I've posted. Like, I'll put the link to the full video for PPC this year, 2019, and also PPC last year. I placed second, and I did a really cute Aladdin's Genie combination mashup with I Dream of Genie. That's super cute. So I just love doing this. I love keeping active. I love the fact that I'm in my 50s and I could do this. And I'm not counting this up to age. This was a fluke accident that could happen to anybody. The CrossFit girl that I met is in her 20s and it happened. Other guys I see online, it happens. They're not in their 50s. They're younger guys. So I don't want to hear that I'm too old to be doing pole. Don't want to hear it. It's an accident that happens to everybody. By the way, my doctor said that the last guy she had in who had this scapholunate injury, she said she couldn't even touch his hand to do all the the tests and things that she has to do. She said he kept crying like a baby. I looked at her and he said, then he's probably not a pole dancer. Because we take so many hits. We are black and blue, head to toe, and we come back for more. Another friend of mine put it this way: you could get bit by a shark in the morning at the beach and then come to pole that night going, I still had to go to pole class. So anyway, this is a long video, I know, but if I'm just laying this out there, if you happen to get diagnosed with scapholunate injury, look it up, see a hand doctor right away. I kind of spent longer than I should have, thinking, oh no, I could do this myself. I can just physical therapy. I could repair it myself, and acupuncture. I don't believe so. I believe it is something that will be helped with surgery. Even though I'm feeling better today, I haven't pulled today. Yesterday, last night, when I came home from pull, it was bothering me for a good several hours. So, I mean, I'm getting stronger. My muscles around the hand are strong. I'm strong everywhere else. I've kept myself in shape and flexibility the last few weeks. I'm doing all the things that can make me successful. And I'm going to think healing thoughts. I know Bruce Lee, when he injured himself, thought of ninjas going to his injury and healing him. My spirit avatars are butterflies. So I'm just thinking healing butterflies coming out of the right side of my brain, going down, and they're just going to be healing, 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 healing while I'm recovering. So if you have any comments other than, gosh, you talk a lot, this is a long video, I'm sorry, they're not going to be this long. I'm just giving a lot of background right now. Wish me luck, and if you stumble upon this because you heard that scary word too, I wish you well. I wish you success in finding the right doctor that you feel personally comfortable with, and I wish you a happy recovery. Take care. It's Jenny Creative signing off. Bye-bye.